Welcome to part 2 of my special coverage of the comprehensive guide to reading DC All In. If you have not gotten a chance to watch part 1 of this, the link will be up above and down in the description below. Nonetheless, I'm Domovex, assistant editor of Comic Releases, and I'm here to cover November's brand new number 1s, current ongoing titles, the Absolute Universe, prices, page counts, covers, and more. So let's get right into it. Mark Waid and Dan Mora, the same creative duo that brought us Batman Superman World's Finest, out of the pages of Absolute Power, is going to be the return of the Justice League in Justice League Unlimited number 1. This is going to be Mark Waid's first stint back on the title, as the Watchtower is back, the JLU is back, and that semblance of being the core team of the DC Universe is all going to be back. There is going to be a lot of threads set up here, and of course, it's Mark Waid and Dan Mora, so I expect this to be near top notch and at the very least look really, really good. $3.99, 32 pages. If you guys want, there is also a cardstock ultraviolet foil variant by Daniel Sampere. Man, some of these covers look so good. I cannot wait to read this, and I can't wait to see the Justice League back in action. It has been a while, and they are desperately needed. Right back, in my opinion. Mark Waid is also going to be back on this team for the first time in almost 2 decades. So this is not unfamiliar territory from him. And Dan Mora, my goodness, drawing 2 books at the same time. I have no idea how he does it, but I cannot wait once again for this team to step out and reclaim the top spot in the DCU. Next up is Batgirl number 1. Man, this is going to be rock solid. This is Cassandra Cain reclaiming her spot as the ongoing Batgirl for the DCU. The first time it has happened in 1.5 decades, which is a pretty long time, if you ask me. Tate Bromble is going to write the book. He is most well known for House of Slaughter with Boom Studios, spinning out of James Tynion's Something is Killing the Children series, and Takeshi Miyazawa, if you're not familiar with him, he did the interiors for the Silk miniseries back in 2021 with Marvel Comics. This is going to be a very rock-solid team. I think they're going to take Cassandra Cain and bring her up to heights that she hadn't previously had since those early 2000s. It's going to be pretty cool, and of course, $3.99, 32 pages. Next up, we got Black Lightning number 1. Jefferson Pierce, for the first time that I can recall, is going to have his own ongoing. This is going to be written by Brandon Thomas, and Fico Ossio is going to supply the art. Brandon Thomas, if you guys don't know who he is or what he's written, he has written some Batman Urban Legends issues, as well as Aquaman the Becoming Jackson Hyde series for DC. Fico Ossio is most known from me for the Kill All Immortals miniseries with Zach Kaplan on writing at Dark Horse, and this is going to bring back the Pierce family and put them in the spotlight once again, something that we haven't seen since Final Crisis. Once again, Black Lightning getting his own ongoing. Man, this is absolutely insane. I cannot believe that he is getting a cool spotlight for DC. Next up, we got JSA by Jeff Lemire and Diego Olortegui. Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Jade Obsidian, Jesse Quick, Hourman, Ted Grant, and Sandman are all back on the roster. And if you ask me, I'm probably going to cop that Jeff Lemire variant that he did. $4.99 for 32 pages, $5.99 for the variants. Next up, we got Black Canary, Best of the Best with Tom King and art by Ryan Sook. Ryan Sook, most known at DC for Seven Soldiers of Satana, The Spectre, and of course Legion of Superheroes. They are going to do this 6-issue miniseries with her fighting Lady Shiva. At 6 issues, this is going to be a 32-pager, $4.99 per series. I hope this is going to be as epic as it will be, and hopefully we get a deluxe of this, because Ryan Sook honestly deserves it. Next up, we got The Question, getting her on ongoing. This is Renee Montoya as The Question, investigating a murder mystery amongst the Justice League. All along the Watchtower, Alex Segura and Cian Tormey are going to be on the writing and art respectively. Cian Tormey was on Superman Son of Kal-El with none other than Tom Taylor, and Alan Scott the Green Lantern with Mr. Tim Sheridan on the writing. So this will be a great looking book, and I cannot wait to see how long this goes. I hope that Renee gets to have her own stake at least for 12 plus issues. Next up is one that I actually didn't expect. This is the Penguin Special #1. Yes, they are doing a special for the Penguin to see what he's going to be doing in the All-In initiative for the DCU. Jeremy Adams and Howard Porter are going to be writing the main story, and there are a couple of stories, including Detective Comics #58 and Joker's Asylum Penguin by Jason Aaron and Jason Pearson, nonetheless, that are also going to be collected in here. Once again, this is just to fixate on what Penguin is doing in accordance with the rest of the DCU. Next up, we got the Absolute Universe titles, and the first of them is Absolute Batman #2 by Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta on the art. This is going to be interesting because we have not seen Alfred Pennyworth as a somewhat of an enemy of the Batman. Of course, we have seen different interpretations of him in Earth 1 specifically, at least most recently, him not being the kind old butler that we are used to seeing. So this is going to be a complete 180 from what we have set on there, and I cannot wait to see what Snyder has planned for Absolute Batman. Next up, we got Absolute Wonder Woman #2. Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman are going to continue, of course, this epic with Harbinger Prime, this monster that has risen from the depths of the ocean, but they haven't seen anything like Wonder Woman. I can't wait to see what happens there. And for those wondering, Absolute Superman #1 is going to be resolicited because it is a November release, so nothing new on that note. Alright, it's now time to talk about the Batman office, starting off with Detective Comics number 1091 by Tom Taylor and Mikkel Yannon. Honestly, Mikkel Yannon is pumping it out with some beastly artwork, and coloring himself is a pretty spectacular thing to see. This issue only reveals this masked villain known as Asema. We don't know much else besides that, but that is what we have for issue 1091 of Detective Comics. Next up, we got Batman 155. Jorge Fornes, yes, the Jorge Fornes that has been on Amazing Spider-Man, that was on Danger Street, is now going to fill in for Jorge Jimenez on issue 155 as The Dying City continues. And issue 156 will be supplied on the art by Tony S. Daniel. So we have 2 straight issues of 2 different fill-in artists. And I talked last month about how we had Jorge Jimenez being filled in by Carmine Di Giandomenico. This is now going to be Tony S. Daniel and Jorge Fornes taking over for the art respectively on Batman, and an interesting sight to see. Next up, we still got Catwoman on the run with issue number 70. This is Selina hoping to reconnect with some pals over in Berlin, but life is not as all as it seems. Selina is up to some very, very interesting things and masquerading in issue number 70. At issue 120, we got a nice view of Dick Grayson as he continues his fighting spree against the crooked system in Bloodhaven. Same creative team as it was previously. Next up, we got Harley Quinn number 45, once again by Elliot Kalan and Mindy Lee, as far as that is concerned. Up next, we got Poison Ivy number 27. Again, more of the same. Janet from HR and Killer Croc are now featured in this issue of Poison Ivy, and also trying to uncover the truth of something called the Order of the Green Knight. Wonder what's up with that. Next up, we got Batman and Robin number 15 by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Javier Fernandez. Yes, we are going up in flames. Memento Part 2 will feature this century-old tragedy from Gotham's history. What that tragedy is, we don't know, but that is what is being uncovered in Batman and Robin number 15. Next up, we got Birds of Prey number 15. The investigation with the 9-Day Cult continues as Sami Basri and Kelly Thompson continue their spectacular run. Onyx is going to be a part of this issue, which I do find interesting. I hope that Kelly Thompson continues to bring in more of the big guns for this book, bring on more of the guest appearances. I think that's going to be one of the strengths of this book going forward, and I cannot wait to see it. Next up, we got the Superman books, starting off with Superman number 20. Superman and Superwoman investigate Lois Lane's new powers with the Doomsday appearance. Yes, Doomsday is going to be back, but hey, there's also this mysterious character called the Time Trapper that is going to set ablaze to the Superman family. What happens next? Who knows? But once again, Dan Mora is still on art with Joshua Williamson on writing. At Wonder Woman number 15, we got a guest appearance from Carrie Randolph. Carrie Randolph is going to supply some of the artwork in this book, along with Daniel Sampere taking control of most of it. And I don't really blame DC or Daniel Sampere for this because he has been drawing a lot. Like, he had a whole bunch of foil variants, probably has to take a little bit of a break, so that is completely understandable. Still 40 pages, $4.99. We're also going to get a Trinity special in here, so for all of those who are wondering about her character, this is going to serve as that for that purpose. Action Comics is continuing its monthly trend. We got issue 1074 with Mariko Tamaki and Mark Waid. Once again, Mariko Tamaki on the backup. This time, Michael Shelfer is going to join Clayton Henry on the main story for issue 1074. Now, for 1075, there is going to be a pretty big, spectacular, supersized issue. This is an anniversary issue, of course. DC and Marvel not immune to the big 25s and the big 50s just because runs don't last as long or as often. But what I will say about this is that Joshua Williamson and John Bogdanove, one of the architects of the Death of Superman and the Superman comics from the 90s, is going to be the third story in this big fold spectacular at 48 pages and $5.99. Issue 1076 will continue the same, although Megan Hetrick is now going to be on art for issue 1076 instead of Skylar Patridge for the Supergirl backup. Megan Hetrick also joining her on 1077. Still all 40 pages, $4.99, so you will probably get 22 pages of Wade and 8 to 10 pages of Mariko Tamaki for the writing on Action Comics Weekly. Next up, we got the Titans continuing whatever they are doing in issue number 17. And what are they doing? They are stuck in an endless loop, and who knows what this tyrant is withholding. Actually, this reminds me of the Super Sons arc where the Teen Titans sort of stepped in for a bit and they had to deal with the Clock King, if I recall correctly. So, not immune to any of these time caper stories. I will say that it is interesting that they are putting Roy in there instead of Wally. Wally is going to be a focus for the JL. For the Titans, it does look like he is off on this issue. Next up, we got Green Lantern. Green Lantern issue number 17, Zermanico still on the art. And as they are mounting a defense against the United Planets and Premier Tharos, Star Sapphire is going to get some very, very interesting character development in this one issue alone. Next up, we got Green Arrow, the first issue that Chris Condon and Montos are going to fully take over instead of having a spot small appearance like in last month's solicitation of issue 350. The Emerald Archer is heading back to Star City, but we have a new murderer. Man, what is it with murderers? We got one in Detective Comics, now we got one in Green Arrow. And of course, Green Arrow has to solve it. I feel like we're getting a lot of murder mysteries between this, Question, Detective Comics. Again, if you are an Ollie fan, I would highly suggest you continue to pick this up. Continuing on with the theme of JL members and former JL members is none other than The Flash. Honestly, the thing I gotta say about this Flash issue is that this cover by Mike Del Mundo is absolutely amazing. I have always loved his trippy art ever since the days of Aaron Thor and mostly the covers of New Mutants. I am just in awe. Vasco Georgiev is going to fill in for Ramon K. Perez on this issue of Flash, and as he is on a family vacation and as he is now part of the JLU, he comes across an old foe, and who that old foe is, we will have to wait and see. Shazam number 17 has Dan McDade temporarily taking over for Emanuela Lupacchino on the interiors for the art. Christmas has apparently come early for Freddie Freeman. Yes, the champion of Shazam, but as all of his success and notoriety as the top superhero of Philadelphia just ill-gotten gains, well, we got to figure out what's happening with him and Dr. Savannah. Hopefully that will lead us to some crazy kookiness with the magic and what's up next for the Shazamily. Also, happy early Christmas since it is November. Next up, we got Powergirl by Leah Williams and Adriana Mello. continuing on as Powergirl is trying to figure out what happened with her friend at the hospital. And man, there is a big super villain pulling and tugging the strings. Whatever will Kara do in terms of her? And last but not least is Batman Superman World's Finest issue 33, as the Reign of Terror for Eclipso is bringing the Justice League to a brink of a civil war. But the Earth's Yellow Sun does have some answers in this conclusion of the arc, Darkness Falls. And just to quickly summarize up one more of these issues, none other than Batman and Robin Year 1, Number 2 is coming out, as we are trying to figure out what is going on with Dick Grayson and his struggle to adjust to the superhero life as Bruce Wayne's ward. But there is an alliance that could help both of them and spell trouble for the newly minted crime duo. You all know that I work for comicreleases.com. And for those of you wondering what on earth it is and why I keep mentioning it all the time, to the start of every video, to the intro of every interview I've done and I've been on, it's the website that I work for that is your one-stop shop for all up-to-date release dates on the omnibuses, epic collections, hardcovers, special editions of collected editions, and much more for the super duper uber collector. We also have documented solicitations for Marvel, DC, Image, Boom Studios, IDW, Dark Horse, and Titan, releasing every single month, so you are up to date on all comics and graphic novels that are coming out for that pre-order period. Now, if you join our Patreon, which is only at $2 a month, it not only helps me and Webhead, who I run the website with, to keep up the server and have it running, you also get a watch list to document all of your books so that you can track them whenever solicitations go live. It's in depth, it's really cool, and if there's a bug or something that we can improve on the site, please let us know how we can fix this via contact information on the forum or our Discord server. Once again, that's Comic Releases for more information. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. I really appreciate all of it. If you guys have not gotten a chance yet, please like the video and subscribe if you're brand new. Hit that notification bell so you know when all of these information dumps and news drops pretty much every single week now. This has been a daily routine, weekly routine of mine, and I appreciate talking to y'all. But until then, you be you, take care, and dominate the day wherever you are.